AM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Don't be afraid to take the baby steps. It's another day, don't forget, 'cause just a prayer away. Don't give up now, trust the process and keep learning. And if you need a friend, we're in this together, together, together. We're in this together, together, together. We're in this together, 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 together as a family in faith and melody.
Hello, hello, and welcome back, everyone, to another episode of INCRadio's Faith and Melody, where we have deep, rich, and life-affirming conversations while listening to Iglesia ni Cristo original music. Now, today, we're talking about love speaks. It's said that love isn't just a feeling, it's a language. So in today's conversation, we'll explore how to speak it fluently through our words, our time, actions, and even our kindness. As for your host for today, I am Jay from Australia.
And I'm Belle from the United Kingdom. And as your host for today, we're so excited for you to join us. So let's get started with our first song on our playlist today, which is People of God Should Continue to Please Him. Enjoy.
How truly blessed each one of us, for God has called us in His church.
We are the privilege of praising Him. A proof He loves us so. So let's celebrate God's love and pour out within our hearts.
Let the heavens be filled with joy. We give praise, and with this happy song, we'll lift our voice for people of God should continue to please Him. People of God in continuous rejoicing. He fills us with joy and love and hope. So let's continue to love, praise, and please our God.
From different colors and races, we became one with Christ our Lord. And just like Him, let's devote our lives in serving God who loves us the most. So let's celebrate God's love and pour out what's in our hearts.
Let the heavens be filled with joy. We give praise, and with this happy song, we lift up our voice for people of God should continue to please Him. People of God in continuous rejoicing. He fills us with joy and love and hope. So let's continue to love, praise, and continue to shine as the light of this world. We're spreading kindness, spreading God's words. Keep offering thanks with joy in our hearts for people of God should continue to please Him.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to everyone. This is Jay and Belle on INCRadio's Faith and Melody. And if you're watching with us live, it's currently 12:05 a.m. over there in the main studio in the Philippines. So later on the show, we're talking about how we show and receive love. Uh, and can look for different for everyone. And today's topic is Love Speaks. But before we dive into our topic, we will begin with our kickoff chat.
This is our live storm
Let us know if
survival
it's
radio
something
segment.
that
I
you're
have
willing
two
to take up
questions.
as a
Kickoff
challenge.
chat.
Yeah, so for our kickoff chat, we've got it there in the question that we have for our chat today, posted there in our YouTube live chat. So if you are watching us live right now on YouTube, feel free to share and join as well your thoughts and your insights there in our live chat in YouTube. But also, if you're watching the replay of our episodes, you can also just comment there in the comment section below. But our question for our kickoff chat today is, since we're talking about how love speaks, what's a small act of kindness that makes your day? Right? So it could be anything, could be something big, could be something small, but we're asking just a small act of love, a small act of kindness that you receive that kind of makes your day feel better, especially if you're going through a rough patch or something like that. Let us know, share your thoughts and your insights. Belle, let's hear from you first. What's a small act of kindness that somebody does to you that kind of makes your day feel better?
When like you're in a group and then when you're just checking on someone and that person says, "Oh, are you okay?" Like they just look at you and ask you like, "Are you okay?" So yeah, that's something that really um that I really appreciate because whenever like you're in a group setting, like you're with your friends and everything, sometimes you can feel uh a bit like overwhelmed by the energy, or you're tired, or I don't know, anything, or you're even okay but you're just being quiet, but there's just this one person who just looks at you and asks like, "Are you okay?" Like, so that small act of kindness, like checking up on you, like can really make my day at least. So yeah, that's one act of kindness that I really appreciate from my friends and my loved ones. But what about you, Jay?
Yeah, I agree with that also. Like a genuine question when they ask like how you're doing. It's a simple question, but when it comes across genuinely, not just something that's said in passing, like kind of like when you walk past someone, it goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And then you walk out of frame, you walk stage left, right? It's like they genuinely want to know what, like how you're actually feeling, and they kind of like making eye contact and all of that. It's nice to have that. Another one for me is, I guess, uh, a hug, right? Like obviously with for my wife and everything else. That's something that makes my day, especially I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed or stressed with just everything that's going on. I know, like actually, just yesterday, Jem was a little bit overwhelmed and stressed with something that happened. So, like a simple hug, kind of like is a nice way to comfort. You gotta know the person first, right?
Yeah.
Right, Belle. You don't just hug a stranger, right? But obviously, if it's a friend or somebody that you care about, that you have that closer relationship with, like a spouse, for example, that's kind of like what makes my day. But also, like just getting coffee. If somebody
Oh,
gives me a cup of coffee, that kind of makes you. Is coffee your thing, Belle? Is that something that makes you happy? Are you more like since you live in Britain, in the UK, are you more of a tea and biscuits kind of person?
I don't mind any, but I really like matcha. So it's
Oh, okay.
neither
Oh, that's right.
coffee or tea.
Didn't you say some like matcha latte or something like that?
Yeah. Something like
Wait,
that.
is that a hot drink or is that a cold drink?
Oh, a cold drink. It can be a hot
It's a
drink.
cold drink.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got everyone else there, and Belle, maybe you can go ahead. We've got a few comments. We've got a few of our Ohana that's watching us live in that live chat. So if you want to go ahead and read a few of those comments and give them a quick shout out.
So here with us joining us is um Jonah Grace Lopez saying happiest birthday wishes to our very own Kuya Dave Shank. We love you, Kuya. Enjoy your day. Oh, happy birthday, Kuya Dave. And here we have Doxa Yango saying happy viewing po from the local of Cabanatuan, District of Cabanatuan, Nueva Ecija. Hello po. And then we have Rod Kahayak here saying, hello everyone, happy birthday Kuya Dave. And yes, happy birthday Kuya Dave. And here we also have Brian Torres saying, happy watching from Washington, D.C. Hello to my wife, Rose Ann, and daughter, Wing Lei. And here we also have Caroline Shank, our Atakare, saying, morning, Ohana, small act of kindness for me, daily checkups, and happy conversations. Even a simple hug, a smile, or a hug. And that's really nice. Care. And then here we have Brian Torres also saying, morning and evening text messages from my wife always makes my day. And that's really sweet as well. That's so sweet from both Care and Brian Torres. But yes, um, I think that's that as of now from our Ohana there in Team Live Chat, Jay.
Okay, so yeah, thank you for everyone that's joining and sharing their thoughts on our little kickoff chat, which is like those small things that makes you feel happy, especially if you're going through when your day's just not, it's got a bit of a slump and that sort of thing. A joke, that's another one from Ebel. Just receiving a random joke. That's something that I've mentioned it before. Jem and I, we do this thing called pebbling, which is basically when you save a whole bunch of like little videos and clips and memes and things like that or jokes. And then when you have like that moment where you share it with each other. So you just like you're pebbling little things that you think the other person will find funny or interesting. Right. So that kind of stuff where she's the thing is, Jem's always has a lot more pebbles to share with me than I do with her. So she's got like jokes, she's got like these funny videos and all of these things. She's also inserting things in there about taking a trip to Japan, like little funny things like, oh, we're complaining about the price of eggs. And then the next minute, we're booking a trip to Japan, right? Kind of like those little things, right? So it's just always funny to be able to share something like that with somebody that you care about. In my case, that'll be my wife. So yeah, shout out to Jem. Anything else that makes your day, Belle?
For me, it's kind of the same as jokes, but like when someone like just keeps making jokes or like annoys you in a way, like
Annoys
not in an
annoys
annoying
you?
way, because like they can annoy you, but in a way that doesn't actually annoy you. They're like, oh wow, you like matcha or something like that, but not like actually trying to annoy you.
Oh, kind
And
of like
yeah,
friendly teasing.
yeah, teasing. Yeah, that's the word, teasing.
Okay.
Because like my brothers, like most of the time, like we just tease and like annoy each other. Most of the time they actually annoy me, but there are times that like I come from work or they come from school, and then I ask them like, how are you, and all that stuff, like how was school, and then they just start teasing me about like some random stuff. I think it's just like a sibling thing, like they just annoy you. And I'm like, oh, at least they have the energy to do that, because if they really were tired, then they would just go upstairs and then yeah, do their own thing.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's true.
It's kind of like a love language in a way where, oh, I'm teasing you, like I'm making fun of you in some sort of way, that's like my love for you. That's, I feel like when you have siblings you understand it more. But yes, that's something that I really appreciate from my brothers. But yes, another thing that makes me like another act of kindness that makes me happy is when I'm smiling at someone and they smile back. And it's so simple, but
Yeah,
it
yep.
makes the difference
Very contagious, right? It's like
because
yawning, but
yes.
smiling.
So I just appreciate it because like not everyone smiles back at you, and it's okay. Like at the end of the day, at least you're the one smiling. But it's much nicer when you're smiling and they're smiling at you. So yeah, that's something that I really appreciate, and it makes your day a lot lighter, like a lot more livelier. And
That's
like
true.
Rod said in the in the comment section, smile more, live more.
That's right. That's right. It's good that you smile. It brings out more energy in you. It makes you feel more positive. And if you're having a bad day, if you can smile, it kind of like it makes it better in a way. There's something good about just trying to smile or find something that makes you smile. Here's one. Jem always, and she's really good at this. She's always good at giving compliments, especially to the people at the checkout counter when we go to like the supermarket or we go to like any of the stores, and when she's paying, she always finds something small, anything, like could be like what the lady's wearing, like her earrings, it could be like a scarf or just her nails. Like she's really good at picking up little things and she compliments it, and you can tell, right, when a person's there and then they're scanning all your stuff, your products as you're going through the checkout, they just don't look like happy. But then she just compliments them, and then it kind of like, whoa, they're like happy, and you can see they smile again. So she is really, really good at doing that. One as well that makes my day, but it doesn't happen to me. I actually like giving surprising gem with food, right? Because she loves food, especially little snacks, and there's certain ones that she likes. But whenever I come back home and I am able to surprise her with something, that makes her day, but it makes my day too. Does that make sense? Like it's not for me, but because I'm giving it to someone that I care about, giving it to Jem, it makes my day to see her happy, right? And it's the same thing with Lena. She is into lollipops at the moment, right?
Yeah.
She's really loving lollipops. So whenever we give her like surprising her with a lollipop, her like face just brightens up and everything. Like she could be crying, but then you show a lollipop and you give her a lollipop, it makes her day happier. It makes us happier too. So there's something about that also. Like sometimes it's not about you receiving something, but you giving can also make your day. But we're going to talk more about this in our actual topic today. Before that, Belle, did you want to just read? I don't know if there's any more extra comments there in our live chat before we wrap up our kickoff chat. Did you want to read a few more?
Oh, and Rod here shared an acronym, another acronym. Smile. Smiling makes individuals loved every time. Oh, that's really a nice one. And it's so timely as well with the topic. Thank you so much, Rod. And then Brian Torres said here, when I see my crush, now my now wife, in all church activities, makes my day till now. Oh, that's so sweet. And Jonah Grace said here, smile and show that dimple out, right, bestie? So she mentioned here Carolyn Chang. So, oh, that's really nice. And she also says that free coffee for the car behind you at the drive-through makes mine and their day. Oh, that's so thoughtful. Jonah. That's really nice, actually.
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
true. I don't know if that's ever happened to you where you get a free coffee. But yeah, if you're able to give like the person behind you a free coffee or something, it's always a nice gesture to make their day. If it's a surprising one, was there anything else, Belle?
um, Brian also added here, when my wife cooks breakfast in the morning and it wakes me up by the smell of her cooking. Whoa! Oh, that's so sweet.
And there's always that extra ingredient, right? Whenever our loved ones cook for us, that extra special ingredient, I found out what it is. It's love, right there. There's extra love that's in the cooking from our loved ones. But again, thank you for everyone for participating. That's been our kickoff chat. So let's just close off this little segment with our bumper.
This life transform. Let us know if it's something that you're willing to take up as a
Kickoff chat.
We're going to continue our conversation into our actual topic, which kind of like ties in with all of this part of our kickoff chat. Before that, we're going to listen to two songs. Belle, why don't you introduce the two INC original music that we will be listening to?
So the first song will be Fight the Good Fight, and the second one will be I'll Never Turn Away. Enjoy. We'll be right back.
No
You finished till the end. Never turn away from God's words 'cause they give me life. Oh, never turn away from the ones who trust the light. No matter what may come my way, I'll use all my strength to serve God. And I can be what I'm not, so the Lord is till the
Welcome back, everyone, to Faith and Melody. And today's topic that we are talking about is Love Speaks, and which will explore how we actually give and also receive love through our words, our actions, our time, maybe gifts, and even support. So let's break it down what it means to feel loved and how different people express it in different ways. It's not just romantic, right? Love languages show up in family, in friendships, and even in how we treat ourselves. So let's kick off the discussion with Belle and I here on the panel, and everyone that's tuned in right now. Which love language do you most relate to and why? Right? Are you more in like with actions and things like that, like actually acts of service, maybe spending quality time with your loved ones, gift giving, or maybe surprising your wife with food, kind of like what I do, or even just giving kind words of affirmation and giving, like cheering them on. Right. So let us know which love language relates to you the most, and let us know why as well. Belle, let's go ahead and hear from you first.
So for me, one of my top love languages, like because for me everything is fine. Like, I don't mind any, but my top one is words of affirmation because for me, it's just something that really resonates with my thoughts and my feelings. And I like to journal. I like rereading like letters or like notes. I like to do that. So, like for example, and if someone gave me like a birthday card or like something like that with something written on, I would definitely read it like 10 times right after they give it to me, or even like in a few years time when I'm like going through my stuff, that will be me still reading it. So for me, that's how important it is to receive words of affirmation, because it really starts with words of affirmation, because that's when you know, like clearly, like at least through words, that you really matter to the person in certain ways. And I just really resonate with it because as someone who sings or dances or performs, like right after performance, it's always nice to have a really good support system. Like you can be very nervous like right before the performance, and it's just really nice to have like your family or your loved ones there, like to support you. Maybe not there physically because sometimes like they're not able to make it, but if they're there in other ways, then it still counts, right? So that's why for me, like words of affirmation is one of like my top ones, because yeah, no matter how much time has passed, especially if it's like written down or even like if it's digital, but I love like handwritten like messages or or letters or cards, anything like that. Like that could be like the best gift ever for me. But yes, yeah, I I would cherish it like for the rest of my life because I still have a lot of like handwritten messages or like notes from like my friends or my classmates even because in Italy like I don't know if you do it in like primary school there, but you basically take a class picture of your class, and then after like a few like weeks or a month they develop it and then they give each copy to each person in the class, and it's a custom for like us to just like or sign it and then write down like something to the person because you don't know if like the next year like they're gonna be in the same class or not. So I mean usually like in primary school you have the same people like the same, you're in the same class for 5 years in the first 5 years of elementary school. And yes, but sometimes people leave or like they change school or they move out, so they make the most out of it from that picture, and then they just like write down like a small simple like paragraph or just saying oh thank you for this year, or they just sign it. That really makes a difference because you can tell that like I still have some of those, so I still cherish it. So yeah, that's why for me I just really get excited whenever there's like a handwritten note or anything like that. Jay.
The one that we have, not like a class photo, but you know how I don't know if you've done it there in the UK, Belle. You take like your school uniform, and this is actually something that's more common, especially when you're finishing high school, right? Basically, you take your school uniform, and everybody writes a message on it, right? And everybody writes their name. Has that something that you guys ever do? So, like, what we did was like we took our sports uniform and we passed it around, with our friends in a class, and people would basically write messages on it, write their names and things like that. So, yeah, that's kind of like, I guess it's kind of similar. It's not a photo. So I guess you kind of like have to remember who these people are when you go back to look at it. Have you ever done that? Is that something that's common there in the UK?
In the UK, it is very common because after every, I don't know if it's after every year, but when they have leavers, like for example, when they leave the course or something like that, like in year 11, they have like their shirts full of like signatures and everything. And I've never experienced that like in Italy, and because we don't have uniforms in Italy, so
You don't have
it's just
uniforms?
no, we
Oh,
don't.
wait. Okay. So yeah, because I know like even in the States, in the US, they don't really have uniforms. But yeah, so you can go to school just wearing anything. Is that anything you want?
I mean, there is like school dress code, of course. Like you can just wear
Yeah.
anything, but like proper attire. But you can it can be casual. Like you can wear jeans and everything as long as like uh your dress.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, oh wait, you have uniforms there as well. That's nice. But here in the UK, yeah, it is a custom for the students because they do have uniforms up until they're like 16 or 17. So yeah.
I want to
I
throw
see.
out this question because I don't really remember school in the Philippines, but I can see a couple of comments there in the Philippines. Like uh, Sister Jonah says that they've done that, like writing, I guess, on their uniforms in the Phil. So for anyone from the Philippines or that knows, especially if they've gone to school there, do they have school uniforms like in high school when you go to the Philippines? Like, or is it Beldy? Would you happen to know if they wear school uniforms in the Philippines when they go to high school? Maybe we can ask our brothers there in the main studio in Philippines. Like we got Kuya Nick and Kuya. Who do we have? Kuya Irene, I think. Um, but yeah, so that's some, yeah. Kuya Irene's there as well. So yeah, do you wear school uniforms there in the Philippines? We've got Priscilla Batan also that's tuned in with us, greeting us. Saying hello, happy viewing to everyone. I know it's like early morning in the Philippines there. Jonah also says that yes, they have uniform in the Philippines. So I wonder if that's something that they do as well. I see in the chat, Rod also shares that they did that with our yearbooks, right? So I'm assuming he's talking about writing messages on your yearbooks. Did you have a yearbook, Belle, in the UK? Is that something that's popular? Like at the end of the year, you have a yearbook of, it's got everyone's class photos, and I guess it's got photos of artworks and like sports activities and all the winners from like the sporting events. And did you have yearbooks? Is that only
Because
like a
I didn't attend like primary school in here, or like the secondary school that I only attended was just the last two, like college. So we didn't really have that, and that was during pandemic as well. So no, I didn't have that, but I saw my brother Dan Dan. He has like a magazine or something like that with like the past year, and I saw some pictures with Sam and Dan there as well. So I was like, oh, that's nice, but I don't know if that counts as a yearbook because it's not really about the actual class. But I'm not sure. I'm not
just
sure. I didn't
just
really
some
go
like
through it.
achievements and
Yeah,
things like that? Well, bringing it back, since we're talking about love languages, right?
yeah.
Just bring it back to that. One of the things for me is like I relate with acts of service. So that's why I've mentioned a few times that I love doing, I guess, just house chores, right? Like, cleaning the house, laundry, vacuuming, like all those house chores type of stuff. That's something that I like to do. And it's kind of my love language, but it's not how I like to receive, if that makes sense, right? So, like, if
Oh,
somebody else does that stuff, like, I don't consider it, for me, I don't see it in the same way. Like for me to show my love and care, especially for like Gem and all that, that's what I like to do. I like to do acts of service, basically doing things for them, cleaning, preparing stuff. Like that's kind of like my jam, right? When it comes to showing my love for others. But receiving it, I'm more of like a person that likes to receive, like especially from Gem, I love hugs, right? And
oh,
especially from Lena, my daughter. Like I love like, when she's very also she's not very much into hugs when you want it, but when she wants it, it's like special. You know what I mean? When she's the one that wants to give you a hug and a cuddle, like she doesn't say the words "I love you" unless you prompt her to. But the way that she shows it, right? When she comes up to you and she's like touching your face, like she just touches your face, she caresses your face, and then she just sort of rubs her cheeks along your cheek. That's how Lena shows her love to us, to her parents. And the thing is, she's started to do that with some of her therapists, because she's been seeing them for a while, and she's built that, like, that bond with them, which is also nice to see that, they also find it like endearing to be able to feel that and to receive that from her. So that's just from me. And I see in the chat as well, Rod, and I think our sister Carolyn Shank is also saying the same thing in terms of like, just being touched, being held, being hugged, that sort of stuff. That's kind of like, it's nice, right? There's something comforting for that, especially, I know for me, especially when I was younger, going through my, problems that you do when you're like a kid, and then your mom, your parents give you like a cuddle, like they give you a hug. It kind of just feels like everything is safe, right? That's kind of like what it feels like when you have like your loved one, your parents, that gives you that hug, like especially when you've hurt yourself or you're crying about something, right? It just feels like everything is okay when you get that. So I still feel the same way like that when Jem gives me that hug, especially when things aren't going exactly well. But continuing on, actually, let's read a few more of those comments there in chat. I just quickly, Rod shares here that he still has love letters that were written to him from Chriselle, his wife, in the 90s, right? So he still keeps all of those love letters and everything. And to Kuya Rod, yes, I do that too, right? Like Jem also goes, where do you keep my birthday cards? Where do you keep my love letters to you? Right? All of that stuff. Like I've got a place where I keep all of those mementos, as they say. Jonah shares that time with her bestie, priceless, memorable, unforgettable, making me say, "Good morning, beautiful." Right? So those are from Jonah. And Brian Torres shares that his love language is food. I think for many of us, we relate some way to that, like to food as our love language. Eating food, cooking food for someone, receiving food. So actually, with that, the next thing that we're asking is, have you ever misunderstood? Have you ever misunderstood someone's way of showing love? So I'm gonna carry that off with, since we were talking about food, with what Brian said. I've misunderstood that because especially the more elderly people, right? They always invite you to eat, and I always just see that as an invitation to eat, right? I've never seen that as anything more. But I've come to realize that being invited to eat and having someone like prepare like a plate for you is a sign of love, right? It's a sign of them caring for you. That's why I never saw it that way, but I've misunderstood it. Like, oh, no, no, it's okay, I've already eaten. Like, they're actually showing their concern, their care. They're showing their love to you by asking, have you eaten? It could be like a Filipino culture thing, but because that's kind of like where I see it a lot from. But it's kind of their way. Like James told me, it's like, why won't you let me cook for you? Whenever sometimes she asks me, oh, can I prepare you something? And I'm like, oh, no, no, I can do it myself. And she's been like, why won't you let me prepare your meal? Or something like that. It's a way to show love. But Belle, has that ever happened to you? Have you ever misunderstood someone's way of showing love?
Oh, like what you mentioned about food, I feel like as Filipinos, like we really experience that like on a day-to-day basis because everyone is like that. It's like, oh, kain ka na, or like, oh,
Kain na, mangan, mangan.
yeah. And you're like, oh no, no, thank you for, and they're like, oh no, no, eat. So it is something that I also have experienced, and it's also nice to see that they really do care, you know. And for me, maybe like a love language that sometimes I tend to forget is like um acts of service sometimes, because you're like, oh, I can do it on my own. Like, like when you're so, oh yeah, I can do it on my own, don't worry about it. And then they still want to help, and you're like, oh no, I'm okay, it's okay. But
Oh,
then,
yeah, yeah,
that's their
yeah.
way to show up for you. Like that's their way to get involved, like in your life, or to help you out. Because sometimes you're like, oh yeah, kaya ko, like I can do it on my own. But sometimes, like God puts people in your life for a reason. That's why, like, it's just to alleviate like certain situations, or like just to have some company, right? So the mere fact that they, like, someone wants to help out, or like makes the time to help you out, or is just simply there, because someone can just like simply just be there for you, like support you from afar, right? But then like sometimes through acts of service, you're like, oh, like that's really nice. Of course, like I'm gonna say yes, thank you. But when I can, of course, like, and I can do it on my own, like I would say, oh no, no, it's okay, thank you. But then they still show up. So it really shows that people do care through different ways, through different love languages. And although we are so accustomed to only one or two, like maybe, uh, we should also be more open to how other express their love to us or to other people. Because you know of course, when you're trying to show love to someone, you want them to understand that you're trying to show your care for them, right, Jay? So it is also important that to remember that we're not all the same, of course, and we have different ways to express and to show how much we care for one another. So I really like this part of the topic, because we always say, "Oh, what's your love language?" and all this stuff, but then it's what you mentioned earlier about what you give and what you receive is different.
It is,
Uh,
yeah.
it it really shows that no matter how many times you ask someone like, oh, what's your love language, or like, oh, what do you prefer, like it's still something not like just written down. It's more deep. It goes on a deeper level when it comes to showing how much you care for someone. So yes, I really like it. Really shows that no matter how much you know someone, there's other ways for you to show up for them, right, Jay?
No, that's true. Kind of, that's probably why, like I mentioned my way of showing love to others, like especially to Jem and to my loved ones, is acts of service. But that could be. But I like to I like the actual hug and things like that I want to get from Jem. But whenever she wants to do acts of service for me, kind of like preparing my meal, like I don't see it as a big thing. Like, oh, it's okay, whatever. Or somebody wants to offer me food, I'm just like, oh, that's nice, but no, no, thank you, right? But it's kind of like it's their way to show love, and that's probably why I don't see it like when Jem says, "Oh, can I let me prepare you, a plate or something," and I'm always like, "Oh, no, no, I can do it myself. It's fine." But for her, it's a way for her to show her care and her love, and her concern and things like that. So it's definitely true that it could be different, and you need to sort of know what works with each other, so like you don't misunderstand it as something else. Yeah, that's something that works. Like gift giving, I don't know if anyone has actually mentioned it yet, but giving gifts and receiving gifts, like I'm not big with that. I don't know if that's same with you, Belle, but actually we're gonna touch on that a little bit in the next part of our discussion, in terms when you receive love from others. But are you, in terms of gift giving, like I know people love to show their care and their kindness to you by giving gifts. Is that something that you relate to? Or let me phrase it another way. How does your love language show up in your friendships and even in your family? How does that work? How does your love language show up for other people in your life now?
Like my love language, like what I want to receive or what I give to my friends and my family.
Both.
Both.
Both, right?
Okay.
Because
Okay. So, in terms of giving, like showing love language to my friends and family, I mean, each person is different, as I just mentioned, but I do tend to like try to make the most of the time that we have together, because as I mentioned even before, like in the previous times, I would say that we're also busy. Like life is really hectic, and I'm not sure if it's going to slow down anytime soon, because, we all have our responsibilities. We have work, school, and church, of course. So there isn't a time where you can actually just like, well, relax. You need to make time for that, especially if you're busy. So, uh, quality time, and I emphasize quality in the time, because you can spend like a whole day with someone and still feel like so underwhelmed by the day or by the company. So, yes, uh, quality time is something that I always try to offer to my loved ones and my family, of course. And I try to really make time, because sometimes, like, we could be in the same locale or in the same neighborhood, and we haven't seen each other in like a month, like. So, um, like, being more intentional with your actions and making time with your friends and your family members and your loved ones really makes a difference. It makes life more livelier, and if you feel more fulfilled, not only by the many responsibilities that you have and that you tackle on your everyday basis, but yes, having to balance your time with your loved ones is really something that I try to offer, as well as, acts of service to them, because sometimes they're just there, and sometimes you don't know if they're struggling or not. But if you know that you can lend a hand, then
mm,
yeah, why not? Show up for them. Like I mentioned earlier, sometimes like it's hard to accept help from other people, because you feel like, oh, you can do it like on your own. But it's also nice to have someone there to care for you and to know that they have your back. So for me, I reciprocate that, like with my loved ones and my friends, of course.
I think you really got to respect and also be aware, right? You got to be aware of the love or the care that the other person is showing. Like for us, we know like how we want to give love, and kind of like the love language that is more comfortable for us. But I think just like with languages in general, like the spoken language that we speak, you speak Italian, right? I am mostly an English speaker. I'm not very good with Tagalog or Filipino, but I think Belle, you're a little bit better than that than I am. But all of us, like, we're all trying to communicate to each other with these different languages. But if you're not using the same language, if you're not understanding, the dialect, the syntax, whatever it is, then you can't tell what the other person is saying, right? So it's important to know kind of like how the other person also speaks. It's nice to know if you are able to do that. That's why what I like what you used as an example, like when people are trying to help you, like taking things off your plate, but then for you, it's like, oh, no, no, it's okay. I can do it myself, right? I'm the same thing. I like giving help. I like doing the stuff. I like acts of service as that's my love language that I portray to my family, in my friendships, to my loved ones. Like I like to do things for them. Like, where can I help? What can I do? Right? When we go somewhere and that things are happening and there's an activity, it's like, where do you need me? Right? Like, what do you need me to do? That's kind of like what I can do. It's like you're giving your time to help take some stress or take some workload off their plate. But then to others, they're like what you like Belle. She's just like, oh no, I can do it myself, right? But the love language that resonates with you more is, well, wait, what was it again? What's the love language that resonates? Words, right? Words of affirmation. Yeah, words of affirmation. That's it. Right? Was words of affirmation, right, Belle? Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was on
So
mute. I was like, yes, that's it.
yeah, so that sort of thing, just being encouraged, and that. So it's nice when you recognize the type of love that people are giving you, but it's also better if the person giving it, right, knows what resonates with you, or what echoes within you, like what works for you, and kind of like, yeah, what you actually are better in terms of receiving. But that takes time, that takes effort, that takes you building a stronger bond with the other person to know that, because we can't guess. I think the most important thing here is don't force it. Don't force your love on others. You can always just offer it. You offer your care, you offer your kindness, you offer kind words, you offer a smile, you offer helping, right? That sort of thing is more than enough. You offer your time, you offer some time to listen to their concerns, right? Like be a kind ear that listens, or a shoulder to cry on. Like you can just offer, and it's really up to the other person in how they receive it. But we don't want to force anything like that, right? We don't force them to like, oh, let me just take this off you, right? You don't force it. But with that, what we're going to do, we got more to talk about, especially when we do come back after our musical break, and we've got Brian Torres's song request that we're going to be playing. But when we do come back, we're going to be talking about that, us receiving love, like kind of like how we act when that happens. Before we get into our musical break, Belle, why don't you go ahead, read a few final comments? I think I saw a few new people greeting us there in our live chat, and then we can move into our musical break before we continue our discussion. So go ahead, Belle.
So here we have a few people joining us actually. So we have Juniline Sarueda saying good morning. Happy watching po mula sa lokal ng Modesta Distrito ng Marikina. And then we also have here Reynalyn Santa Elena. Happy viewing from locale of Boalan district of Zamboanga City. And we also have here Lani hello po from Long Island City district of New York. But yes, we have here Jonah saying yes, right. Bestie Caroline Shank, too caring and too much for me, but it's just Bestie's way of showing she's got so much to give in terms of misunderstanding someone's way of showing love. And that's what and Caroline Chang also responded here, wow, that's exactly what I was thinking to Jonah. And then Jonah said, of course, that's why we're besties. But yes. Here we also have um let's see. I'm sorry. I think I just missed it. Let me just double check. But yes, I think that's that as of now, from our team live chat. But yes, before we continue on with our topic discussion, we will play for you, "Ikaw ang Hiling," requested by Brian Torres, and also "At Last." Create Tech, if you could kindly play those two songs for us, that would be great.
Well, while our critics are getting ready for those two songs, these two songs are actually very much love songs that we have in the INC original music collection, Ikaw ang Hiling and At Last. So we do hope you enjoyed it. Since we're talking about Love Speaks, we have a few married members or book club members that are the married members in the Iglesia ni Cristo, so Church of Christ, right? That's listening to us, that's tuned in. So hopefully you enjoy this. Again, those two songs, the Brian Torres's song request, Ikaw ang Hiling, and the second song that we're listening to, At Last. Kuya Tech, take it away.
Your requested song, our favorites, Faith and Melody Heartbeats.
Sa di inaasahang pagkakataon, dumating ka sa buhay ko. Di ko akalaing magkakasundo tayo. Sa ama'y pinagpanata kita, sinambit ang pangalan mo sa kanya, at sinabi kong mahal kita, wala nang alinlangan pa. Ikaw ang hiling sa ating Ama, ikaw lang ang iibigin tuwi na handang magtiis at maghintay, at sa tamang panahon basbas at ibigay, umaasang diringgin. Ikaw at ako'y pagbubuklurin, tayong dalawa sa harap ng Ama, magiging isa.
At kung lilipas man maraming taon, matyagang maghihintay, abutin man ang kay tagal, sa puso'y di mawawalay. Ikaw lang ang hiniling sa Ama, mahal kita mula pa noong simula. Sa panalangin ko'y tugon ka niya, wala nang alinlangan pa. Ikaw ang hiling sa ating Ama, ikaw lang ang iibigin tuwi na handang magtiis at maghintay, at sa tamang panahon basbas at iibigay, umaasang diringgin. Ikaw at ako'y pagbubuklurin, tayong dalawa sa harap ng Ama. Pag-ibig ko sa'yo'y tapat, laging laman ka ng aking panatag. Panatag ang
Panatag ang puso na muling makikita, at sa habang buhay ay tayong dalawa.
Ikaw ang hiling,
Ikaw ang hiling,
ikaw lang ang ibigin tuwi na
handang magtiis at maghintay, at sa tamang panahon basbas at ibigay, umaasang
ikaw at ako'y pagbubuklurin, tayong dalawa sa harap ng Ama, magiging isa.
your requested song, our favorites, Faith and Melody Heartbeats.
For sure we waited so long for this day, the day that we would be together. I wrote this song to help me express how I feel. I'm filled with joy that I can finally say that after all these lonely years, finally I have that special someone, a special gift from above. I got the answer to my prayer. God blessed me with you in my life. At last I'm with you, my love. You've been waiting so patiently, never gave up, you still chose me, yeah. No, not even distance could shake our love, because we both believe God gave this blessing from above. After all these lonely years, finally I have that special someone, a special gift from above. I got the answer to my prayer. God blessed me with you in my life. At last I'm with you, my love, my wife. At God bless me with you in my life. At last with you, my wife. After all these lonely years, finally I have that special someone, a special gift from above. I got the answer to my prayer. God bless me with you in my life. At last I'm with you, my love, my. After all these lonely years, finally I have that special someone, a special gift from above. I got the answer to my prayers. God bless me with you in my life. At last I'm with you, my love, my. After all these lonely years, finally I have that special someone, a special gift from above. I got the answer to my prayer. God bless me with you in my life. At last I'm with you, my love, my wife. That special someone, special gift from above. That special.
This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
It doesn't take something big to show love. The right and thoughtful choices made with care can make a parent smile and turn an ordinary day into something special.
Dishes done, floors clean. I'll surprise Mom and Dad when they get here.
Wow! Hello, son.
Mom, you're early.
The house looks great.
Plus, I'm done with my assignments.
Oh, really? Oh. You always do your chores without being told. We see your effort, Carl, and we're proud of you. Here, we got you something.
What? How'd you know I want this? Thank you.
A child who brings joy to their parents is blessed even without asking. In the same way, when we live to please God, He gives us more than we could ever hope for. A reminder from Made in Australia, brought to you by INCRadio Australia Satellite Studio.
Hello, hello. This is Jay and Bell here on INC Radio's Faith and Melody. And just a quick shout out to INC Radio Australia Satellite Studio for that great message that we just watched. Really ties in to our discussion today on how love speaks, especially even from children to their parents. So that was a great example. So shout out to INC Radio Australia for that video, that message that they produced there. But with that, I just want to give this before we continue our discussion on our topic. Belle, why don't you go ahead? I see a lot of our brothers and sisters from Saskatchewan, from the district of Saskatchewan. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. So let's go give them a quick shout out first before we continue with our topic discussion. Go ahead, Belle.
So we have here Rowena Salvante saying, greetings both from the district of Saskatchewan, there in Canada, and Kim Kiao saying, magandang umaga po mula dito sa distrito ng Saskatchewan, Canada. And JD Saren, hello po to all brethren and viewers. Greetings po from the district of Saskatchewan. And good morning to our beloved district supervising minister, Brother Ramil Makaspak, and to his lovely wife, Ate Irene. And Ka Irene Makaspak also said, hello po to all our dear brethren po. Greetings po from Saskatchewan district po. And there's also Ria Narinay saying good morning po mga kapatid. And Caroline Shank also said here, yes, all blessings, but thank you for tuning in. Saskatchewan in the house. Shout out to them. So thank you so much for your support, everyone. It really means a lot. And here, Rod also said, that's an awesome commercial. And it's true, that was a really nice one as well. And yes, thank you to all those who are supporting us right now. It really means a lot. There's a lot of you actually.
There's a
So
lot, yes. So thank you so much for your support. And earlier in our discussion, we talked about the different love languages that we relate to, especially on how we like to show our love and our care for the people that we care or the people that we do love in our lives. So in this part, we're talking about receiving love. Let's reflect on the how we've experienced love and kindness, and even in how we care for ourselves, because that's also receiving love, on like how you give yourself care and kindness to you. So Belle, and to everyone that's listening with us right now, what's your reaction when you receive love and kindness from other people, right? So it's not always easy sometimes for some of us to receive something, to receive like love and kindness, especially like what do you say or like what do you do? Belle, what's your initial reaction when that happens? Is that something that you're comfortable with, or is that something that comes easy for you when somebody does something nice to you? Is that easy?
it's, I mean, sometimes it's hard to like receive it because like you know that you get things done on your own for so long and you don't really try to ask help. But even in the moments where you need, like when I need help, sometimes I just find it hard to ask for help. So for me, sometimes receiving love and kindness is just like, whoa, hopefully like I do receive, like I do accept it, of course. But I just sometimes it's just harder because you're not really accustomed to it. So at least for me. But it's just really nice. And when I do receive it, like I just really feel so like joy, like so joyously overwhelmed. like overwhelmed in a good way. You know what I mean? I don't know how to say it, but yes. Especially when there's like a church project or something like that, I just feel much more happy because I'm like putting my time and my effort and my energy into that project. So if people are kind to me whilst we are doing the project, then that's even plus points for me. Like, um it's just something that I really do appreciate. I do express uh my gratefulness to those people by saying thank you so much, and I even reciprocate like with acts of service or like even just like helping out. So yes, um it is something that I'm trying to learn to be more open, to be more receptive of um you know, receiving kindness and not seeing it as because you're weak. You know, sometimes that's what you goes through your head. You're like, oh no, yeah, that's why I told you earlier that it just feels like, oh no, no, I can do it. Don't worry about it. But if I do see it in a different point of view, from their point of view, then I can see it as them just genuinely being kind to me. So I should start like being more open. I'm not saying that I'm just closed off, but sometimes we are so comfortable in our own like comfort zone that
Yeah.
we don't really take that into account, you know, Jay. So yes, I'm trying to learn to be more receptive of receiving love and kindness from other people because
I'm in the same boat, Belle. I'm trying. I originally I was very awkward when receiving, especially compliments. And have you ever had a birthday party for you and people are singing you happy birthday, and you're just like you feel awkward when they're singing the happy birthday song, and you're just like, what do I do, and where do I look, and what do I say afterwards? Just a simple, oh, thank you, everyone. Kind of, I'm like awkward like that when just anything kind or loving used to happen. I've learned to be better. I've learned to be better. But most of the time, my initial reaction in receiving kindness from others is met with a little bit of awkwardness and just a simple thank you, like that really means much. But I've learned to be better in expressing my gratitude, right? My gratitude to the other person in terms of what they did, whether it's like an act of service, spending time, or giving gifts or whatever it might be, right? You need to be able to also express your gratitude to the other person. And maybe that's a topic that we can cover in another one of our episodes of like, how do we express our gratitude to others, right? In different situations. Because it doesn't come naturally, at least for me. I don't know about for our viewers that are listening. I don't know if it's easy for you when somebody shows their kindness to you in some way. They give you, their time. They do words of, give you words of affirmation. They cheer you on, right? Kind of like, how do you react to that? But I think the most important thing to remember is everyone is different in how they express their love, how they give it, and it's different as well in how we receive it. But overall, right, Belle? I think you would agree with me here that we should be grateful that we have those people in our lives, that we have somebody that cares for us. Your friend, you've got a best friend, you've got, your bestie, right? You've got someone that you really can talk to, someone that always like tries to do something for you. You've got your partner, your spouse, you've got your parents, right? Like, how do you then receive their kindness and then express your gratitude to them? I think that's the most important thing. Remember that you should be grateful to others, especially when they're trying to do something kind, something nice, right? Something nice for us in whatever way. Just be intentional with the thank you and be genuine when you show your thankfulness, your gratitude to others, right? Uh, so, with that, since the other part is also to ourselves, right? We shouldn't rely on always receiving love from outside, from other people, from our best friends. Like I need my my love from my best friend or from my my parents. I need the hug. I need this. I need gifts shower me with gifts. Right? We need to be able to show love and gratitude to ourselves as well. So the next part we want to ask is, how do you do that for you? Like, we'd love to hear, like, how do you show yourself love, kindness? How do you show yourself gratitude, for you, like just by yourself? While we're getting you to write your answers, because I know it takes a little bit of time to write there, Belle, why don't you go ahead? Read a couple of the responses, because I see a few there, especially an acronym from our very own Rod Kahayag, who's our acronym master. And then you can go ahead and give your response to this question.
So here in the comment section, Rod Kayak shared with us, when we let our love speak, we also love the effort we put in, especially when we see them appreciate the kindness we are trying to give. And that's true. And that's why it's really important to try to read between the lines sometimes, Jay. So thank you, Rod, for sharing that. And he also shared with us an acronym, of course, Love Speaks. Loving our victorious efforts, seeing people every time, appreciate kind speech. And that's really nice, Rod. We really appreciate that. And he also said here that he's awkward during the birthday singing too. But yes, um in terms of showing love and gratitude to oneself, Jonah Grace Lopez says here, take the time to love ourselves in order to love others. Appreciate how blessed we are at God as God's children. It's enough to reciprocate that. And that's true. At the end of the day, it's just really important to be there for others, of course, because we've been taught to love one another as much as we love ourselves, right? So, how can we love others if we don't love ourselves? So, it's just really important to be there for ourselves as well. And what Jonah Grace mentioned there as well, she reminded us that we really are God's children. So, that's enough love that we have in ourselves, like we are the blessed and the chosen ones, right? So if we really take that into account, then we'll be able to be there for us ourselves and be there for other people in our lives as well. And that's really nice. Jonah, thank you so much for sharing that. But yes, Jay, um what ways do you show uh up for yourself? Like, how do you show love and gratitude to your own self?
Okay, I'll start because I was asking you first. But let me start with one. One of the things that I do is like actually setting boundaries, right? Like, you have control. We kind of like what you let in and what affects you. And we know, especially as members of the Church of Christ, we know that we're surrounded with so much, problems, so much hardship and challenges in around this world. And like everything's going, crazy, and we have our own problems to deal with as well. So being able to set boundaries and making the right choices on what you are listening to, what you are reading, who you're listening to, and things like that, right? Like many of us are, it's very easy to connect online, social media. You got the news outlets, you've got, all these different platforms that you can listen to out there. And generally the reviews or the messages from many others and people and influencers are not really helping. They're not giving you the encouragement, the motivation, the positivity that we need in a world that's so full of problems and challenges. So being able to set boundaries and respecting those boundaries for yourself, right? Not letting other people's negative thoughts and emotions affect you, and pushing those things away, right? Making the choice to say, hey, I'm protecting myself, I'm protecting my mind. I need to step away from this person. I need to step away from watching this or reading this. So you have to be really careful, because that's one way to protect and to show kindness to yourself, right? One thing I've noticed in the past, especially when I was much younger, is that you're always ending up getting carried along with all these other people and influencers that you watch on social media. and the news and things like that. So you have to be careful, on what you're letting into your space, because anything that you're watching, even if you're by yourself, that's affecting your own. You're taking a little bit in your own mindset. It's affecting you mentally. It's affecting your perspective on things, right? So you have to be careful with that. That's why I believe it's very important that we, as much as possible, focus on the platforms that and the media that the church produces. You've got so many different things on the different platforms, right? You've got the church medias, that you've got the things you can watch, incmedia.org. You've got our INC radio, you've got the YouTube channels that we have, even the social media channels. That should be something that affects you more than other people or other things that especially don't have the same values that we share. How about you, Belle? What's one way that you show loving kindness to yourself?
I love that you mentioned about setting boundaries. That's really important because it's important to, know your own limits, know your own wants and your needs, right, Jay? So, to reiterate that, for me, it's just trying to be there, like, for myself in a way where I know what I can take on, and I know what I also want, you know. So enable be to do everything that I need to attend to, right? I need to manage my own time and my energy, and if it does feel overwhelming, I need to be able to communicate that instead of taking on so many responsibilities and then not being there fully for each um, task that I have to tackle, right? So, and not only for like task or like, anything that is like work related, but also, being there for your friends and loved ones. Sometimes when we don't have our energy ourselves, how can we be there for our loved ones as well? So yes, one way for me to really show up for myself is allowing myself to feel like sad or happy or angry even sometimes. So if you do allow yourself to feel those uncomfortable emotions sometimes, you are able to see things clearly after you've processed those emotions, right, Jay?
I
So
agree. I agree with that.
so instead of feeling overwhelmed by everything and everyone, uh, if you do take the time to slow things down and be patient with yourself, because it's easier to be patient with others, right? Because um, you don't see them as much as you see yourself, right? So yes, that's why it's just easier because you can give them the benefit of the doubt and everything. But when it comes to yourself, there's no hiding because you know yourself so well, right? So uh, yes, being patient and being very present with where you are and who you are. So for me, it's that, like, trying to be more patient, not being too hard on myself, especially when I'm trying to take up on so many things. And yeah, it's just sometimes it does feel overwhelming. So yeah, yes, Jay. I try to be there.
Yeah.
And yes,
You know,
also one thing. Oh, yeah, sorry. What were you
I
saying?
I was just gonna say that, I know for you as well, but for many others that might be listening, that giving our time, especially to other people, comes easier than giving time to ourselves, right? Like in terms of sacrificing our own strength and our time and our effort to do things that is needed, right? Especially helping others. That seems to be a lot more easier than setting aside that time to also give time for us to rest and to look after our own self and our own well-being. I don't know what it is. Like I know of a few people that are like that. Like many people who are just don't have enough time for them, but they have so much time for others. And that's such a nice character to have, but also at the same time, like I worry for them, because you need time for yourself to, look after your health, look after your strength, your rest, because like we know for us, members of the Church of Christ, we should love other people just as much as we love ourselves. So loving ourselves, taking care of ourselves, being kind and grateful to us, to yourself, is just as important, right? If you need rest, take the rest, right? You can't keep on pushing yourself and be sick, because once you are physically incapable, you're physically sick, you are not able to, how are you going to take care or look after or show that love and kindness to the people that you care about if you don't look after yourself as well? So that's also important. That's another thing that I've also got in my mind in terms of showing love and gratitude to yourself. You should be grateful. You should show that love. You should show that concern for yourself by taking the time to look after yourself, whether that's in the food that you eat, taking some time to rest. I know many people, present company included, like me as well, who are very much sleep deprived, right? And they run every single day with only a few hours of sleep. And it takes a toll on your body to be able to do that. Sure, you could probably do it for a long time, right? But the amount of damage and everything else that might happen over the course of that year, 2 years of you doing that and not looking after your health will take a toll, and it's going to take a lot longer for you to recover. So you have to respect yourself and look after yourself as well. And that's one way to show love for yourself. Nobody else is going to do that for you. Many times there's not somebody else that's going to tell you to, hey, take a break and go to take some rest and eat this and eat properly. And, until we, like, especially as we grow up, we don't have our parents. Our parents are usually the ones that are telling us, do this, do that, go to sleep, and whatever else. But as we grow up, that's all on us. Right? We don't realize it, but we're the one that has the responsibility to look after ourselves. But we kind of like forget about that, and we just pass that on to looking after other people. So just remember to look after yourself as well, right? Take some time to rest, take some time to recover. What's your self-care routine? How do you look after yourself? Are you eating, certain foods just to make you feel better, to make you happy, to make you, recover and recuperate? You getting enough exercise? That's something that always happens a lot. Most of the time we're at our desk or we're hunched over on our smartphones or our devices, that we don't take the time to like stretch out and walk and everything else. Yeah, you got to look after yourself. But before we continue on with that discussion, I don't know if there's anything else that's important that you want to share. But I think just final words for me on this part is that, looking after yourself, self-care, self-love, it matters just as much. And just remember that it's not selfish. I think that's what many people think about, is that if you are giving time to yourself, you're being selfish. It's not selfish, especially if you're given so much time and sacrifice for others. Shout out to the parents out there as well. And shout out to the dads, and especially the mothers who do so much for their kids. Like, that rolls on, and you can see that how much sacrifices our parents have made. It's not selfish to give some time for yourself to recover, to rest, to look after yourself. You need that, right? You need that so that you can continue on for longer, right? To showing and to sustain. You need to be able to sustain that output. And that's only required through rest. Your smartphone needs time to rest, right? You plug in your phone so that it can charge and get recuperated. We need the same thing. We need to be rested as well. Belle, did you want to go ahead before we continue on our discussion? Because we have a final thing to talk about, which is in terms of, since we've talked about receiving love and taking care of ourselves, when we come back from our break, we're going to talk a little bit on being intentional on showing our love for others. Before that, I can see there's a couple of comments there in our live chat. So I'll ask Belle just to read that and just to intro the next two songs that we'll be listening to.
Rod Kahayak also shared another acronym saying ourself, our ultimate respect, self-care, every time, love focused. And thank you for that. And Jonah Grace also said, if you're a working mom like me, that take that needed break before it breaks you. And that's true. You should always try to take a break. And Caroline Chang also said, me, another acronym, me, magnificent, endearing. And then, yes, she's Jonah Grace also said, put that phone down and talk with your loved ones eye to eye. And that really helps as well, you know, to alleviate like the tension, or to just feel, relieved from the worries that you have in life. But with that said, we'll continue on later after our musical break. And the first song that we'll be playing for you will be Thank You, Lord. And the other one will be Beautiful Life. We'll be right back. If Quick Tech could kindly um, play the two songs for us, that would be great. But yes, um, that'll be Thank You, Lord, and Beautiful Life. But yes, for those who are watching us live right now, continue to, support us. We're gonna go towards the end of our topic soon. And I hope that so far we really have reached at least one of you, you know, if you are going through something right now. I hope that this topic has helped you to find more courage and more love, since it is about uh, love languages and showing up for others. So, yes, we really hope that um, our topic today has at least reached one of you watching us today. But yes, Korea Tech, are you ready, po? Mhm.
If our brothers are ready there in the main studio, the next two songs that we're listening to, Thank You, Lord, and Beautiful Life. Kitex, go ahead, take it away. They may not be ready. Oh,
Although I walk this cursed earth and tread its stony roads, I am not afraid, for I am not alone. The land may shake from under me, the tides of time may change. I shall stand my ground unwavering, my faith will never change. The troubles come in multitudes, the grip of sin is strong, but none of these will hinder me, for you guard me from the wrong. All my friends may leave my side and abandon me to dismay, but what I'll do is pray to you, and you wipe my tears away. You are my rock, my shield, my guiding light, my shelter from the storms, my refuge from my enemies, my light to keep me warm. And so I say to you, my Maker, thank you, Lord. Yeah. My pains have spread overwhelmingly. I want to stop to rest, but my spirit never falters, 'cause I know it's just a test. The time may come when I'm old and weak, I may want to leave it all, but it's you who keeps me running strong. With you I'll never fall. You are my rock, my shield, my guiding light, my shelter from the storms, my refuge from my enemies, my light to keep me warm. And so I say to you, my Maker, thank you, Lord. Yeah, I see the light that shines for me tomorrow, to escape the haunting darkness of my sorrow. Your amazing love surrounding me turns all my gray skies blue. I owe my life eternally to you. You are my rock, my shield, my guiding light, my shelter from the storm, my refuge from my enemies, my light to keep me warm. And so I say to you, my Maker, and so I say to you, my Maker, thank you, Lord.
I waited for you patiently. God's timing is everything. Now you're here, an answered prayer. You're a blessing from above.
Yes, we were always meant to be, destined to be in love. You're the answer to my every prayer. You were sent for me by God.
There's no doubt.
I'm convinced you belong with me. I can't wait to see what tomorrow will bring. You'll be here every morning next to me, and when I open my eyes, it's your face I'll see. How beautiful life can be.
We'll trust in God.
And His plan, no matter where it takes us.
If I love be put to the test,
His love never fails.
there's no doubt.
I'm convinced you belong with me. I can't wait to see what tomorrow will bring. You'll be here
Jay and Bell here on INC Radio's Faith and Melody. And let's wrap up our discussion by looking at how we can intentionally show love and gratitude in everyday life. So, with this final part to wrap up our discussion, what's a simple way you can speak love into someone's life this week, right? There might be someone that you're thinking of, a loved one, a friend, your spouse, perhaps, even, your parents, your children, whatever it might be. What's a simple way for you to speak love into their life this week? Maybe something that you can do today, especially if you're just waking up or you still got the rest of the day ahead. Something that you can do. What could it be? Share us your thoughts there in our live chat. Bell, I know it's like late evening for you there, right? But you've got other things going on later tonight. But what's a simple way that for you that you could do this week to speak love into maybe a friend, maybe one of your siblings, maybe your mom, right? What's something that you can do for them to speak love into their life?
Well, being more intentional with my actions and sometimes I don't really get to see them as often as I want to, even though we all live in the same house. So making the most of each other's company, maybe. We started playing this board game together, and it took so long to finish it. And like, I wasn't playing because I came late from work, and my siblings were still awake, like Sam, Dan, and Ate Erica. Aaron was already sleeping, but yes, they were playing this board game, and I came from work like really, really late, and they were still awake. I was like, "Why are you guys still awake?" So yeah, they were still playing, and at some point, I was like, after like eating the food and trying to digest what I ate, I went to sleep, and apparently they haven't slept up until like 1 or 2 hours after I went to sleep. So it was already like 3 a.m. And I was like, wow. I tried to stay awake with them because, of course, like I never get to see them that late at night because I usually come home really late. So it was the first time that I was like, wow, you guys are awake? That's weird. So yeah, I try to stay up. Like, sometimes you do have to do that sacrifice of like, although you're tired, like tired from work or whatever responsibility you had to attend to. But if you know that you don't have those kind of moments together as much as you would like to, then it's up to you if you want to take the chance and, make the most out of that moment, or, just go to sleep straight away and like say, oh yeah, next time. We have to be more intentional with how we want our life to be. So if we if we really put our effort in, making time for our loved ones and making time for our responsibilities, then, at the end of the day, we can't really say, oh, yeah, I never have time like with my family. I never have time to do what I like. I never have time to do this and that. So at the end of the day, like, it's really up to you on how you want to use your time. So if you really want a life that is full of laughter or like, full of social energy within your family or even loved ones, that's uh something that you know, you need to invest in, your time and energy. So for me, one way that I can simply like speak love into someone's life this week is just being there. And you know uh, every person, as we mentioned throughout the topic, every person has their own different ways of receiving and giving love. So if we do love and care for someone, then we should be patient enough to uh, show up for them in ways that they can feel cared for, right? So for me, at least what I can do is try to make the most out of like quality time and being there if they need me. So yes, that's a way. Maybe not simple as as it was asked, but yeah, that's a way for me to be there for someone and
No, it
hope.
does. It's good though, right? Because everyone is busy with so many things that's going on in their life and goals that they're trying to accomplish, and new ventures that they're trying to work towards, right? So being able to spend the time and I guess, make time, because like you said, sometimes finding the time to be like with your siblings in particular, what you mentioned there, like you live in the same place, in the same house, but you don't get to see each other that often because everyone, right, each one of them are doing different things, involved in other things, different activities here, there. So it's nice when you can find time, schedule time, right? I think that's the most important thing there, is that you need to make the time for them, be intentional on spending that time for them, find it so that you can find the time to spend with your loved ones. Because like kind of what Sister Jonah wrote there is in our chat, just give them as much time as we can, as we don't know what lies ahead. I think that's why there's that saying on how valuable time is. It's one of the precious commodities that we have. Time is so precious that being able to give some time to someone and be present, make the eye contact, really listen to them and just create those special, those memories with that person. That is like as simple as it gets, right? To be able to find that time because of just how busy we are. You got to make time, you got to give your time for them, because if you don't find the time, you'll never make the time for somebody else. I think just being present, intentional, what you said there about the board games until 3 a.m., it hasn't happened lately for us, but I remember during the whole lockdown that we had a few years ago, right? And my siblings and us, we were all in different places, right? We played the online games where you have to, there was one in particular that we really enjoyed, where we had to guess what the other person was drawing, right? So we would be all
Oh, that's
connected,
so
right?
fun.
So we would all be connected to the same thing. One of us would be given a word and we have to try and draw it, and the rest of us have to guess what phrase or what word was given, so that we could get the point and whatever else. So that was fun. It hasn't happened in a long time just because of time, right? We haven't been able to stay up until 3 a.m. because we're not in the whole lockdown situation anymore. But one thing that we do always do is, for us, we have a family prayer every single week, right? We have like a family devotional prayer, a set time that we have together, where we actually all connect, even though we are all over Australia. We all connect at this time on this day every single week, where we have a prayer together. Then we also catch up with each other and just see like what is going on in each other's lives, right? And that sort of thing, like what's the news, how are the kids, and all of this stuff. And we make that time each week to be able to catch up, because of just how busy we all are. It's important that you at least schedule that time. And one thing that I think we're gonna do very soon, because Lena loves brownies. She loves like chocolate brownies and things like that. There was one time where we actually stayed up quite late, like I think like 2 a.m. just baking brownies. We just made a whole bunch of batches of brownies. So that's something that we could do as a family. Something that you could try. Something simple is find something that they care about, that makes them happy. That's why our kickoff chat question earlier was like, what's a small act that makes your day, right? Might be food, right? So maybe you can like cook something together and just create that memory to create something together. Is always nice. But with that, there's always something that you can do. And as simple as a smile that you can give to someone in a little bit of your time is more than enough to show your love, your kindness, to speak love into somebody's life. There's so many ways to do it. We all do our different ways on how we speak love to others and how we receive love. But whatever it is, it just has to be done with intention and with kindness, and especially with the love that we receive from Almighty God, to also reciprocate that and share that with the people around us. So before we go with our verse of the week and wrap up our broadcast for tonight, Belle, why don't you go ahead and read any final comments from our live chat?
So, Rodka Hayek said here, giving good advice to show your concern. And he also wrote here another acronym saying time. The intimate moments encourages. And Jonah here said, just give them as much time as we can, as we don't know what lies ahead. And that's true. Make the most out of it and cherish each moment. And she also wrote here a acronym, timeless, intimate moments experienced. And that's really nice as well. Thank you so much. And Rod here said, you being present, your presence is a gift, a present to them. And that's really a nice way to view it. It's true. At the end of the day, as long as we are present for our loved ones and we are there in any kind of way, that really shows that we care for them and hopefully they do feel cared for. But with that said, we will now proceed to our verse of the week, which is helping others will improve your life.
So here's an idea. Why don't we all start our week with a giving and kindness attitude and do good things for others? And we'll do this based on what the Lord Jesus himself taught. Hi, I'm Brother Felmar Sereno, and I'd like to share this verse of the week with you. Let's read from the book of Acts, chapter 20, verse 35. Remembering the words the Lord Jesus himself said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. It doesn't get any clearer than that. It is more blessed to give than to receive. So let's give respect to all through our pleases and thank yous and our smiles and hellos. Let's look for ways to help those around us, doing acts of kindness for our parents, our friends, the elderly, and even those we may not even know. And let's give what we can to those who are in need. And even if someone out there might seem a bit rude or cut you off on the road, let's show some grace and be kind in return. Now we here in the Iglesia ni Cristo, the Church of Christ, are also inviting everyone to join us in our volunteering and community service through our INC Giving projects. For more details, please visit our website, incgiving.org, or follow us at INC Giving Project on Instagram and Facebook. This is our verse of the week. Stay safe, stay strong, stay faithful. God bless.
Thank you to Brother Falmar for that inspiring message to take with us for the week ahead. And, with our topic today, I hope that you really and truly felt love in some ways. And yes, Jay, do you have any promotions or greetings that you would like to share?
Just wanted to quickly shout out to everyone that's joined, and especially all of our brethren from Saskatchewan, the district of Saskatchewan in Canada. Thank you for tuning in to our broadcast, and to everyone that shared their insights. Shout out to my wife, Jem, and to our daughter, Lena. And just a reminder that our sister Carolyn Shank shared with us here in our live chat tomorrow's topic here on Faith and Melody, captivating mentors. So make sure that you tune in to tomorrow's episode and the whole week here on Faith and Melody, depending on which part of the world you are, Monday to Thursday or Tuesday to Friday, midnight in the Philippines. So there you go. And with that, again, also shout out to my co-host Belle for always being here on the show and sharing her own experiences and insights with us, and to our Kuya Nika and Kuya Irene, our techs in the studio. But thank you so much to everyone. Belle?
Well, thank you, Jay, for always being there as well. Honestly, Faith and Melody is really one of the great blessings that I've received in my life because, we do get to talk about like life, our faith, while we also listen to music. Like, that's the best, basically. But yes, I also wanted to greet my family, my mom, Ate Erica, Arian, Sam, and Dan, and everyone who is able to support us today. So thank you so much. It really means a lot. And also thank you to our tech team, our brothers there in the main studio, Nico and Irene, our sister Dessa Senas and brother Edwin Acebuque, as well as brother Wally Tarai, our INC radio station manager. And special thanks to our executive minister, brother Eduardo V. Manalo, and our deputy executive minister, brother Angelo Eranio Manalo. And once again, we thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Belle from the United Kingdom.
And I'm Jay from Australia. And we have been your host on today's broadcast of Faith and Melody. We hope today's episode has given you a positive start to your week ahead. To close off our episode today, we'll be listening to Love One Another. Join us again tomorrow and the rest of the week here on Faith and Melody. Have a great week. Take care and see you on the next one. Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Go!